boondocking, solo camping,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about that.
So solo camping, it's a new thing that I just started doing this year. I just got out of a relationship, so just being young and figuring out who I am as an individual, and I love being up in the mountains, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a try. I love the Sawtooths. I went and did the Grand Tetons not too long ago. I absolutely loved that.
Okay, so Grand Tetons, right? That,
Mm-hmm.
not for the faint of heart.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just roll into a campground, or do you go find something?
Yeah, I'll do some research before about like some hikes that I want to do, or just campgrounds I want to stay at. And I just lay my seats down in the back of my car, and I can fit an air mattress back there and just stay in my car.
What kind
Really?
of car do you
Yeah,
have?
I have a Kia Sportage.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty good size.
Do you bring all the like solar stuff with you?
No,
The
I'm not that
heaters and
fancy
the-
yet.
Not fancy.
Maybe,
Okay. All right.
Maybe one day.
All right.
I love it. I think it's a great experience to put yourself in your own thoughts and really just think about life and set goals for yourself.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
Peaceful place to think.
it is very peaceful.
Welcome back to GI and a Cup of Joe. Once again, I'm here with Annie T.
Just a regular girl, and I'm here with Justin C.
Just a regular guy.
In this podcast, we'd like to take off the rank and get right down to just being a regular person who made a random decision to wear a uniform in the Idaho Army National Guard. All of us come from very different backgrounds, but we do have one common goal: to better our future.
Not just to better our future for ourselves, but for our families and the ones we love. We encourage you to listen to each story and see how regular people with average grades, average attitudes, and common fears about their future find their strength and their ability to be resilient and to be able to accomplish extraordinary things.
Welcome to Season 2. Well, today we're talking to you officially. She's Specialist Hallie M, but honestly, she's just Hallie. Let's go back to high school, Hallie. Where did you go to high school, and what kind of student were you?
I went to CUNA High School. I was a student athlete, also a teacher's kid. Yeah, teacher's kid.
That's right.
My mom taught at my high school, so
Oh, that had to be terrible.
oh my gosh, it had its pros and cons. She knew everything that everybody was doing, so trying to sneak around was not a thing. But yeah, played volleyball. I took a lot of college classes, so I set off first to take as many college classes as I could in the medical field to go through sports med, because that's what I wanted to do after high school, is go to college for sports med or something in the medical field. I'm terrified of needles, so medical field was not for me.
You figured that out in high school,
Yeah.
huh?
Yep.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah. And that's how I ended up here in the card.
So let's talk favorite subjects.
Favorite subjects. Health sciences. I've always been fascinated by the human body and like the limits that we can push ourselves to. I think it's super cool, and just how we function as a being.
And you pushed yourself to the limit, didn't you? Because you did some bodybuilding.
I did, yeah.
What was that like?
So I started that my senior year of high school. That was a really great experience to learn just how my body works and how eating certain foods and working out really affects you. I would say it was more mentally challenging, just staying disciplined and
I bet.
motivated every single day to go do it. But
Good for you for
I
doing
love
that.
doing it. I think it's so great.
Are you going to do it again? Do another show?
Yeah, I'm planning on competing possibly here in May. I would start prep next week, so
Oh, wow.
I'm trying to mentally prepare.
Eat all the candy this week.
No, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's substantial discipline. We know that your mom was a teacher in the high school that you attended,
Yeah.
right? What kind of steered you in this direction of the Idaho Army National Guard? Because it sounds like you had a lot of things that were going on all at once, but there's no, like, what was the connection that got you this direction?
So my senior year of high school was mostly online schools because of COVID. So I was taking, I think, like 5 classes online, and then I worked 2 separate jobs just because we didn't really have the money. So I had that all on my own. And then I was wanting to play college volleyball. Because of COVID, most colleges didn't have scholarship money or room on their rosters because they let their seniors play again. So I was like, well, I don't want to pay thousands of dollars for something that I'm not 100% sure on just yet, because it's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So my dad was in the Navy for a long time, and I just kind of talked to him. I actually remember my freshman year of high school, some Navy recruiters came and were talking to us about it, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And my mom was not very happy. She did not like that idea whatsoever. So I steered clear of that for a while. And then my senior year, I was like, well, I was really interested in the military, despite my mom not liking it. So I'm going to go do some research. And I talked to a Navy recruiter, and something just didn't feel right about what they were telling me. And I couldn't find a job that I necessarily liked with them. Same with the Air Guard. So I just was like, I don't know. And then I have a couple friends that are in Jatea Wilkie's my best friend. So I talked to her about it quite a bit. And then Cameron Weeks, her husband, got me in. I did a tour with Tammy Sirkovich of aviation, and it sounds maybe not weird, but I just had this gut feeling that it was what I was supposed to do. Like that was what was meant for me. And I told my recruiter, I was like, I want to be a 15 Papa, a flight operations specialist. That's the job I want. And then eventually I want to become a Black Hawk pilot. That's my plan. We're going to sign. Let's do it. So.
And you knew this in high school that you want to join the military?
That was my senior year. Because I didn't think about it till probably about when I graduated high school. Okay. Kind of dawned on me that I should probably make a decision for my future. So.
Did you have any plans before the military? Like earlier in high school that you wanted to do? I guess medical field, right?
Yeah, mostly just college and volleyball. Not anything super big, I would say. Just the normal, like, teenager, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm here.
So
go ahead.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
You were doing bodybuilding, and this desire to bodybuild kicked off in the middle of COVID?
Yes.
So how did you, like with gyms being closed, how did you make this a thing?
So one of my two jobs that I worked was at Axiom. I was a front desk person, and right when they reopened, and a bunch of the trainers there were asking if I was interested in competing. I was like, I have no idea what that is, but I'll look into it.
Fun.
Yeah. So I started training with one of them, and it's like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And it just became such a big part of my day and such a habit that I was like, yeah, I guess I'll give competing a try. I like challenging myself, and I would say I'm an athlete, so competing is just something that I always like to do.
Okay.
No, just the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Just kind of figuring out how you.
Yeah.
A lot of the interviews that we do when you talk to like high school kids, or even some of the older service members that come in and they talk, they have stories similar to our stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have a plan. I wasn't really doing anything. I was, I was not the best student, and
Yeah.
But it seems like you were dialed in through high school on the direction you wanted to go, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, my mom, Annie knows my mom. She's a great
checker.
Working on her second master's degree. My mom, my entire life, has always been going to school. She's just been very dialed into her career and accomplishing her goals. So I think I just took her work ethic and her dedication to just wanting to grow and get better, and just ran with it.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Like, was she like Tiger Mom? Like, are you doing your homework?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she let me live life a little
bit.
Okay,
good. Well,
a little bit. She was a great
I
checker.
support Tiger Moms. That's a good thing.
No, my mom was great. She was so great.
She's a good person. Yeah. So being an athlete probably helped you through boot camp, right?
Yeah. Yep.
How was that challenging for you?
As far as like the physical stuff goes with boot camp, I would say it wasn't. I feel like I got such a different basic training experience.
Really?
It was so easy as far as drill sergeants, and it just wasn't what I was expecting.
Where did you go?
Jackson.
Okay.
Okay, so like if you turn around and look at the board, we're actually taking notes, and so you would be the 8th tick mark on there of people that have done this podcast that said, boot camp was way easy. Like, I don't know what I went through.
I actually had so much fun. I had so much fun in basic training. I had great people in my platoon. My drill sergeants were so great, so funny. I think I might have done more laughing than anything,
Oh
which
my God.
you shouldn't be saying about basic training, but
What was the best part about basic for you?
I think just learning and growing. I think it put me into a good trajectory of where I wanted my life to go, or like where I want my life to go.
Yeah.
As far as like being an adult, taught me a lot. But I think just the people I met, and I don't know, not every day you get to say that like I was getting paid to shoot guns and
Right?
go throw grenades and do all these ruck marches, and yeah, I think the whole experience was so much fun.
That's cool. I remember the obstacle course at Fort Jackson, and that was probably my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a different Fort Jackson experience. So you're just starting your career, right?
Yep.
What has been your greatest accomplishment since the first day you put on this uniform until now?
I think so. One of my goals that I had coming back from basic training and school was to get a full-time job, because I joined for a career, was to get a full-time job on base, no matter what that was. And I think within 6 months of being home, I got my full-time position up in flight ops. And so I'd say that's my greatest accomplishment this far. I have so many more that I'm like ready to accomplish. I know greater things are coming. As like, I feel like that's so small to say is, oh, I just got a job within the Guard, but
That's huge.
It
That's
is
huge. Because how old are you?
21.
Yeah.
You wish you could sit down and explain what that means to get a full-time job in this organization, right? Because you talk to a lot of other leaders across the state and across the organization as a whole. Like, this is a full-time job, and you know where your future's going to go, and like you check the box for 20 years.
Yep.
Like, when you get it done right, you're like, oh, okay, this is nice.
I had no idea what I was getting into when I accepted a full-time job. I was hired as a temporary technician when I first got back from basic training, and I had no idea what was handed to me.
Yeah.
And then, slowly but surely, I learned all the benefits and everything with it, and then the AGR program, and I'm like, oh man, I got it made.
Yeah, I worked for the state, right?
Okay.
So I had 3 kids, and I was making a living off of state of Idaho wages. And then somebody offered me a 1-year ADOS job out here. In my first paycheck, I like compared them both, and I was like, I'm all in. Like, whatever I got to do, I got to stay out here.
Yeah.
So back to high school.
Yeah.
You've only been out a couple years, but if you could go back and give people some advice, some students like yourself advice on how to get through high school, how to get through life, what would you give them or tell them?
I feel like it's so dependent on each situation. For myself, it was just bettering my future. So what can I do to better my future, to set myself up financially, mentally, physically, all those things. I think just go with what you think is right, because it's so dependent on each situation. I am so glad I joined the military. It's given me so much and will continue to give me so much. So just go with what you think is right. And there's so many options out there. High schools push college so heavily, and college is not the only option. It's not the only option in your future.
I remember talking to your mom about that in depth, because
Yeah.
she was, like you said before, she wasn't too keen on the Navy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, everyone needs to go to college. I'm like, no, they don't. The military will help you, right? It'll
Yeah.
help you get through college.
Yeah.
And even for a lot of people too, the military will help you find what you want to do in college if you want to go to college.
Absolutely, it will.
Yep.
Because I know I didn't. If I went to college right out of high school, I did go to college, and I partied out of college because I wasn't there for academics. I was there just to be there. Right?
Well,
Yep.
you think over 60% of freshmen change their majors after the first year.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they don't know who they are. They haven't done the things that you're doing, like trying to go out and find yourself, right?
Maybe everyone needs a solo camp.
Yeah.
Solo camping
Highly
is the answer. Okay, so solo camping, right?
Yeah.
This is the Pacific Northwest, technically.
Yep.
Right? And this is the Sasquatch Battalion.
Yep.
So, the most important question of the show,
Very important.
do you believe in Bigfoot?
You know, I'd like to.
What?
I'd really like to. I think, and I just need to go do more research because it's not even maybe a thought that I've had. Solo camping, though, and thinking that Sasquatch is out there is kind of
Disturbing.
a little disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah. But I don't know. I want to say yes.
Good answer. Yeah. Good
So
answer.
you're the second aviator that we've had on this show now since we started. And the first one was like, I got to do some research. That was your response. I think I need more research. So we'll see. That's interesting.
But isn't it their flight maps that have the Sasquatch
Yeah,
legends?
you
So
talked
the-
about that in
The
Rob's
Air Force
episode.
maps, like so,
Oh, an Air Force
and we've
map.
got one in headquarters too. First Sergeant Rash has got it. I
We
think
need
it's
to bring it here
in
and
his
prove to
office.
people
Yeah.
Sasquatch is real.
you turn over the official like Air Force flight map, and in the key it shows Sasquatch like migratory patterns, and then it has areas on the map where these like if you bail out of a plane, don't bail out of the plane in these areas. Like
Avoid this area.
avoid this area. You're like, oh, okay.
But maybe solo camp a mile away.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe.
Dip in and out, see what you see. Yeah.
Okay, so we stepped on a little bit of Sergeant Major's grass, which means we just need to clear up a couple of things that we said. You used flight ops, Hallie.
Yeah.
We want to explain what flight ops is.
So flight operations is where we have all our radios, keep comms with all our pilots. Just my workplace, my job specific in the Army.
Okay. And I said AGR, and again, that stands for Active Guard Reserve. It's just active duty for the National Guard, full-time job. And then Sergeant Major, you said ADOS.
Active duty special work. So ADOS is 1 year orders all the benefits of an AGR job, but it has a termination date. So a lot of the AGRs out here will start. They'll get a 1 year tour, kind of prove themselves, and apply for every open AGR job that comes open.
Perfect.
Okay, well, that's all we had time
Yeah.
for.
Thank
you.
you.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd like to thank our guests and our production crew for their time.
Join us every Wednesday here on GI and a Cup of Joe. See you next week.